In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing episode 1 of Tokyo Vice titled The Test. Now, this is based off of the 2009 memoir, Tokyo Vice, an American reporter on the police beat in Japan, by Jake Adelstein. Now, it tells the story of his early years living in Tokyo as he becomes the first non-Japanese reporter working for one of the largest newspaper companies in Japan. Now, in this first episode, we find that the character of Jake Adelstein is basically... The episode starts off where we don't know what's going on. We see the character of Ken Watanabe as a detective, and Ansel Elgort's character in a room putting on a vest, and they're going to meet a Yakuza boss, trying to figure out what's happening, and this Yakuza boss tells him, don't dive so deep into what you're looking for. All of a sudden we flash back 2 years earlier to 1999, where we find that Jake is studying Japanese for certain purposes and reasons, and we find out that he's taking an entrance exam test in order to work at this newspaper company. Now, the name of the newspaper company is the Yomiuri Shimbun, and it's really, really interesting how he gets into it, and the whole aspect of racism is really prominent in this first episode. Ansel Elgort plays Jake Adelstein, and he is a journalist from Missouri who moves to Tokyo, and the longer he stays, the longer he gets into the certain conspiracies about the Yakuza and what's going on, dirty cops, this and that. And Ken Watanabe is introduced in this series in the very beginning few moments where we see that, and we don't see him again until maybe for 2-3 minutes in a scene where we find someone dead on the street, and Jake writes a report on it, by his supervisor, Emi, who is played by Rinko Kikuchi. It's great to see her in a movie or a show again, for that matter, because she hasn't really done much at all. And I'm really not a fan of Ansel Elgort. His acting's very dry at times, but I feel like he does fit the mold in this by being an outsider or a gaijin, which they do harbor on so much in this first episode, that the racism is so prominent between the Japanese and his character. It's insane. I feel like Ken Watanabe is the reason I'm watching it, and it is the reason I'm watching the show, because I love his acting, and seeing him in a crime drama TV series is really, really good. Now, over the course of the episode, he goes into certain aspects of trying to get information from cops, how to work with cops, getting some information. He meets up with Miyamoto-san, who is basically a weird detective who loves, American women. And the editing in this series and episode is really insane. And the reason I say that is because one scene, Miyamoto has a full beard on when he's coming out of a police station. The next scene, where they walk out of the police station, he has a 5 o'clock shadow. The scene after that, where they go to a Japanese strip club, he's clean shaven. So the continuity aspect is really different in this show, which is very shocking and surprising, and I didn't expect that. And also, as the certain main characters are speaking, like the Japanese characters, the English words are coming out of their mouths, but it's not, moving at the same time. You can see the small edits and how they wanted to put everything together, and the minute little editing details of it, which I feel like does bring down the show a little bit. The show is edgy, it's gritty, but it doesn't give that grit and feel to it just yet. I feel like once the character of Ken Watanabe comes in, then you actually know what's going to happen. I mean, listen, he's taken under the wing of a veteran detective in the Vice Squad, and starts to explore the dark and dangerous aspects of the world of the Japanese Yakuza. Now, in the end of this episode, we see the Yakuza put on an initiation where we are brought into the new, foreman, or the new right hand, or the second one in the command in the Yakuza. It's very interesting how things are done, and it's very hush-hush for right now, but the way this, episode was done was interesting. It was directed by Michael Mann, and the teleplay was by J.T. Rogers, who also created this show. The character of Jake Adelstein could have been done by a different actor, a younger actor. I don't know who they could have gotten, but I feel like Ansel Elgort really needs to shine in this to show that he can actually stay with the big top stars in Hollywood with his acting, especially in a TV series. Of course, we know him from the movies, of course, recently with West Side Story. But Ken Watanabe, I feel like, is the main focus in this show. he's the one that everybody knows. I mean, you know, he is Japanese. He's had a great filmography, great resume of films, and now with TV shows. It's going to be interesting to see. I feel like this show will win awards during award season for the television awards. I feel like Ken Watanabe will get an award for this role. He'll be nominated, but it'll be interesting to see if he wins. Now, the aspect of seeing how Jake gets away with all of this stuff is going to be really curious in a way. Like I said, he takes this test to get into the newspaper agency, and it's really interesting how he gets into it, because there's a certain thing that happens at the end of the tests, and you think, oh this is, but it doesn't. There's a lot of dragging on and trying to get forth to the story, but when you put things together, you yourself are this detective that is trying to help him as he's a reporter, but as he's trying to figure out, you're also trying to figure out and trying to, you know, make sure that he doesn't do stupid shit, because he's already done stupid shit and his boss at this newspaper agency doesn't like it. So it comes down to the supervisor. She doesn't like it. He's only supposed to write stories that he's given, but he wants to do things on his own. His true story and the book, basically, he was 19 years old and he covers his career in Tokyo, and it starts in 1993, and he was hired as a rookie reporter, and he worked there for 12 years for the paper. And this book is really interesting because it goes into certain things like the memoir and aspects of being a non-Japanese in a foreign country like that. So it's interesting to see that they took a memoir and made this into a TV show. Little bits and pieces are probably strewn around. We don't know what's real, we don't know what was made up for the TV show. But I feel like, you know, it's going to be interesting because it looks like it's a gritty show, but it has to get better and pick up if it's going to be popular. Word of mouth will get this show going, and I feel like it will. It's on HBO Max, so don't miss it. If you like Tokyo, if you like Japan, if you like crime drama, the Yakuza, you know, detectives, dirty cops, then this is kind of a show for you. If you like Ken Watanabe, watch that. Even if you like Ansel Elgort, like I don't really like, but you know, hey, I'm giving him a chance, so we'll see what happens in these next few episodes of Tokyo Vice. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about episode 1 of Tokyo Vice, titled The Test. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? Filmmaking aspect of it, did you like the editing? Could you spot the certain things that were missed, how the quick cuts were happening? What did you think about the acting? And who do you think will actually make this story move forward, and who will actually, you know, make it heavy at times? Meaning, do you think Ken Watanabe will be the focus point, or will Ansel Elgort actually come out of his own shell in this show and make it what it's worth and worth watching? Let me know in the comment section below about the questions I just asked, and be sure you tune into my episode 2 review of Tokyo Vice, titled Kishi Kaisei, right here, and I'll see you guys in the next review video.